Jokers Wild, with the country's top comedians battling it out to see who knows all the jokes. And keeping them in line, it's Barry Cryer.
Thank you. Welcome to yet another edition of Jokers Wild, in which two teams of comedians battle to see who knows the most jokes. And they battle for this, our Jokers Wild trophy, a life-size model of one of Bob Todd's Carmen rollers. Let's get down to business and meet our two teams on this occasion. Will you welcome Captain Leslie Crowther with Team Chic Murray and the aforementioned Bob Todd.
The aforementioned.
And thirsting for victory, Captain Jon Pertwee, Lance Percival, and Johnny Hackett. They know there's a list of subjects, high, medium, and low scores. They don't know what's coming up out of the box. Let's find out as we start the game, as I press the button for Leslie Crowther. Leslie, what can you make of, if you'll pardon the expression, landladies?
What can I make of landladies?
Yes, indeed.
It's a very interesting question.
It's a family show.
Which I could... well, worries me slightly. Well, of course, there are all sorts of true theatrical stories about theatrical landladies. You know, when we used to go out on tour, doesn't happen now because there aren't any theatres left, more's a pity. But an actor stayed at some dig somewhere up north here, and he went to the loo. Because, you know, he wanted to. When you've got to go, you've got to go, you know what I mean? He went to because he felt the sergeant deserved. Never mind. Anyway, so he's up there, you see, and he's minding his own business, and... you wee heathen. And he pulls the chain, as one does, after the performance, and the system went... Nothing. It's happened to you, hasn't it? So he tried it again, and he went... So nothing. Suddenly he heard the landlady's voice from downstairs says, "Are you up there, Mr. Rollitt?" He said, "Yes, my dear, I am." She said, "It's no good doing that. You have to surprise it."
Leslie, that was a noble effort. 5 points. That's a Scrooge miserly term. 5 points, you're ahead. John, come on, Jon Pertwee. See what you can do with drinking.
I presume that Toulouse-Lautrec is finished.
Now then. Before, I think John's signalling, but I was going to do it anyway. Before he's even started his story, I'll give him 2 points.
Yes, quite right.
2 points
Quite
for that.
right.
And the subject was, in fact, drinking, yes.
Drinking. There was a very butch explorer, and he was walking along with his pet lion on a chain. Nothing to do with your story, Mr. Crowther. and he went into a jungle bar and sat at the bar, and he said, I'd like to have a triple scotch and a Zulu for my lion. And he...
Interruption by Lulu. No, Zulu. No, Chic Murray. Chic Murray, sorry.
Was John talking about someone who took a drink? I know someone who took a fair drink, and he went into the bar at the zoo. And when he came out again, he saw the elephant for the first time. He said to the keeper, "What's that?" The keeper said, "It's an elephant." He says, "It's got 2 tails." The keeper said, "No, the other tails are..." He said, "Listen, it hasn't got 2 tails." He said, "The one you think's a tail is a trunk." They said, "What good's that?" He said, "Well, in parts of where the Indian comes from, that elephant comes from in India, it's used for lifting logs." The fellow says, "There's no logs here." The keeper said, "It does seem a pity."
-1.
You smooth-talking devil. 2 points to Chic. 2 points to Chic. And meanwhile, we go back to Mr. Pertwee. This is ridiculous. Anything to do with your story?
As I was saying, when I was so ineffectually interested, this very butch explorer with his pet lion sat at this bar and ordered this triple scotch and a Zulu for his pet lion. And he downed the scotch very quickly, and the lion inhaled the Zulu equally quickly. And this went on for about an hour and a half with triple scotches and Zulus, and he said, "I'd like another Zulu for my lion." He said, "I'm so sorry, Bwana, but we have no more Zulus. Would a pygmy do?" He said, "Don't be a twit. You know how nasty he gets on shorts."
Four points to John, 7-6. Let's see what happens as we move to Chic Murray, our interruptee of a moment ago. Chic, what can you make of history?
The histories are, of course, in the past, as people know. American history has always intrigued me, especially...
Interruption by Johnny Hackett.
American history, he said.
Yes.
Yes,
true.
I think I'll not
Well,
get
I've
back on
heard that, you know, through all this big scandal in the States now about Watergate, they're going to rewrite George Washington's speech. It's going to be, I cannot tell a lie, it was the axe that cut down the cherry tree.
Oh.
Topical.
Oh. Satire lives. 3 points to Johnny Hackett, 3 points. We return to the... Sorry, Lance.
What was so good about it is I didn't understand it.
Definitely 3 points then. Back to Chic Murray, back in the mists of American history.
And during the war against the American Indian, General Custer, of naturally very well known to those who knew him. So he's leading his company of horse across the wherever he was going, and then a sound, because of the stillness of the day, they could hear. And another fellow said to Custer,
General, there's a rider coming fast. I'm looking for General Custer.
I'm General Custer.
General, there's Indians everywhere. You never seen so many Indians. There's Crow, there's Blackfeet, there's Patch, a Sioux, and Big Chief sit and pull them sail.
Well, that's why we're here, to get Indians.
Yep, he said he's going to get the man with yellow hair. And you're the man with yellow hair.
He said, I know that. He said, where are these Indians?
He said, they're going to Brother Hill now, General.
And there were thousands of Indians, thousands.
What are you going to do, General?
Bugler, sound the alert.
Yes, sir. Oh, General, get repeaters.
General, surrender, we're going to repeat, you know that? What do you make of these Indians? I just don't know what to make of them. 1 minute they're singing and dancing, and now this.
Oh, dear, a better example of sitting bull I've yet to hear. Four miserly points. Let's put Leslie's team 2 ahead and go to Lance Percival. Lance, what can you make of? Now, here's possible high scores. Insects.
Insects. Shouldn't have done that. Are daddy long legs insects? Daddy long legs.
Oh,
insects.
oh, sure, yes.
Right. Daddy long legs. This is meant. Well, no, it wasn't meant.
Interruption. Interruption by Daddy Longlegs himself, Leslie Crowther.
Well, shut up. Wasn't Daddy Longlegs at all.
Ah.
No, it's fleas. These, hang on. These, 2 fleas, performers in a flea circus. Very good fleas they were. Excellent. You know, they're top of the bill. And they'd just done, in the flea circus, 2 shows, the matinee and the evening performance, and a midnight matinee for the pros, you know, all the other animals. And they were very tired. And they were sitting in their dressing room taking their makeup off, you know, these 2 fleas. Ridiculous, isn't it? And they don't even wear makeup. And these 2 fleas were sort of taking their makeup off, and one said, I'm half tired, aren't you? And he said, yeah, 3 shows, ridiculous. He said, do you want to walk home, or shall we take a dog?
Two points to Leslie. Back to Lance. Anything to do with your story? No, yours is Daddy Longlegs.
Wait a minute. Or shall we take a dog? Got that one down.
Yes,
yes, Daddy Longlegs. Now, this is meant for all the fathers in the audience and the prospective fathers in the audience and any of the lads in the back who are sweating it out. Concerns Daddy Longlegs, and it concerns a little boy talking to his rather dignified father. And the little boy says, oh, look, Daddy, there's 2 Daddy Longlegs. They're kissing each other. Ho, 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 ho. Yes, quite right, boy. Two dead long legs kissing each other. Very well done. Yes, but after you told me the other day about the birds and the bees and all that rubbish, surely one of them's got to be a mummy long legs, isn't it? The other one's a dead long legs if they're kissing each other. Isn't that right? Yes, yes, quite right. One's a mummy, one's a daddy. I can't tell from here which is the mummy and which is the daddy, but one's the mummy, one's the daddy. Yes, quite right. Yeah, well, I looked up in the dictionary, and there's no such thing as mummy long legs. So they must be both daddy long legs kissing each other. Ho, 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 ho. There they are they? Both daddy long legs kissing. Yes, well, we don't want any of that sort of thing.
This'll get them at it. 5 points to Lance Percival, nudging Jon Pertwee's team 1 point ahead. And this is where we stop our game for 1 minute, literally 60 seconds, and ask one of our comedians to step out here in front of our audience to see how many laughs he can get in that 60 seconds. His subject is contained in an envelope buried in our audience. I know who's got the subject. Hillary. I'm going to see her now. So I shall now approach Hillary, who's got the envelope. You start opening the envelope, please. And you'll find the subject in there on a piece of paper, and we'll find out what it is. Are you nervous? Oh, don't be. You've seen envelopes before. Now then, open the paper. What's the subject, love?
The army.
Say it again.
The army.
The Army, and it's a member of Jon Pertwee's team. Gentlemen, will you confer?
Captain,
I've been volunteered, sir.
Ah! And so it is volunteer Mr. Jon Pertwee on the subject of the Army for 1 minute, starting now.
There was a captain, and he was instructing his men on the art of guard duty. And he said, now, men. And he said, now, men, don't laugh at people's afflictions. And he said, now, men, I want you to be quiet. And he said, what I want you to do is this. Now, at the slightest, shut up! At the slightest sound of the bomb coming, at the slightest sound of the bomb coming footsteps, you are to raise your garden, and you are to listen to what I'm saying. At the slightest sound of the bomb coming footsteps, you are to raise your garden, and you are to announce in a loud, clear voice. Who goes that? Who goes that? He seems to take a long time answering. For God's sake, don't shoot, it might be me.
Thank you. Thank you. We'll be back with Jon Pertwee's single score and more of the game in just a minute. See you then. Welcome to part 2 of Joker's Wild. At the end of part 1, Mr. Jon Pertwee there were so many laughs going on, I couldn't really tell. I counted about 20, but allowing. I would say that's equal the course record of 15. 15, definitely. Les Dawson at home has now stormed out of the room, and and you should see him storm out of a room. Back to Bob Todd, with your entry into the game, Bob. Let's get back to the game with possible high scores. Parrots.
Parrots.
Yes.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because
Yes.
There was this little man in a bowler hat who used to go to London every day, and he commuted down Little Road and into the station, and every day all the other little men in the bowler hats went down, and one day he noticed that a pet shop had opened in the arcade just before the station. And he had a look at it, and as he got near the station, he saw that there was a big perch outside with a very battered parrot.
Interruption by Jon Pertwee.
Parrot, yes. Would it be the story of the lady whose pipe burst? And the lady's pipe burst, and she phoned up the plumber, and she said, "Would you come round at once? My pipe has burst." And the plumber said, "Yes, madam, I'll be round as soon as I can." And she couldn't wait any longer than an hour, and he still hadn't turned up, so she left. She left the door open. And the plumber came along, you see, and he knocked at the door, and the parrot, the lady's parrot, said, "Oh, sir!" He said, "It's the plumber, madam." And the parrot said, "Oh, sir!" He said, "It's the plumber, madam." And the parrot said, "Oh, sir!" And he said, "It's the plumber." And he fell over and died of a heart attack. And when the lady came back, an hour and a half later, she found the plumber dead on the floor, and she rushed over to him, and she said, "Who's that?" And the parrot said, "It's the plumber."
I'll give that 3. Let's make a real needle match out of it. I'll give that 3, but we return to Bob Todd, back in the aviary. Bob, was that your joke?
No, that was about a plumber, that joke. No. As I was saying, he was walking down to the station approach, and there was this old parrot sitting on a perch. And just as he got opposite, the parrot ignored everybody else. But as he drew level, the parrot went, "Nose picker." It's worried him. He got on the train. He thought, "I'd try it again tomorrow morning." As he walked past, the parrot ignored everybody else. As he got level with the parrot went, "Nose picker." So the following day on the way straight, he called in the shop and he said, "Every time I come into this damn shop of yours, that parrot says nose picker to me." And the bloke said, "I'm awfully sorry. I'll fix it. Don't worry about it anymore." Next morning, going down to the station, he saw the parrot still sitting on the perch, but he had a big sticking plaster around his beak. And he thought, "Ha, ha, ha, that's fixed him." But as he got level with the parrot, it went...
Winner of the Mary Whitehouse Trophy, Bob Todd, with 4 points. Let's get level making. 4 points. Johnny Hackett, what can you do with... Oh, dear. Mothers-in-law.
Oh, mother-in-law. I've got a beautiful mother-in-law, actually. Lovely woman. I bought her a present for Christmas. She went to pieces over it. It was a little hand grenade. And, see, brother-in-laws or son-in-laws never got on with mother-in-laws. And this is a perfectly true story. There was such a couple in Liverpool. And they couldn't agree with anything. So they were going over one day over the Mersey on the ferry. You know, that's a river that divides Liverpool from Birkenhead.
Yes.
Funny place, actually. And...
Well, it has to, really.
It has, yes. And he says to her in his inimitable way, he says, "Look at that girl's hair. Someone's cut it with a knife." And his mother-in-law said, "No, scissors." And he said, "No, knife." She says, "Scissors." He says, "Oh, here we go again." He says, "Knife." He says, "Scissors." So in exasperation, he picked her up and threw her off the boat into the river. And she's sinking, and he's saying, "Knife." She's saying, "Knife." And she's going down for the 3rd time. As she's going down, he says, get the last word out. After all these years, he says, "Knife." She put her hand up and she went.
I'll make that a 5. A 5 to Johnny Hackett. I like a fairy story now and again. Back to Leslie Crowther. I'm awfully sorry about that. Back to Leslie Crowther. Leslie, business.
Show business. A deft twist.
Yes, clever lad.
My agent. Last Christmas went on a skiing holiday, and poor devil, there was an avalanche, and he was stuck halfway up Mont Blanc, which is a mountain. And and suddenly, he was up to there and don't make a wave in snow, and he was crying for help, as one does. He was going, "Oi vey!" Oi vey! The echo. And they hear his cries for help in the village below. And they send out a search party. They're going, "Yodelay! Yodelay! a very bad echo. And he hears the sound, and he says, "Who's there already?" Or even, "Who's there already? Already." They said, "International Red Cross." He said, "I've already given."
Let's keep an even match. 4 points to Leslie, 21-22. Gentlemen, into our quickies. We go to each of our teams with a subject. Gentlemen, any order, jokers wild, literally. Leslie Crowther's team, the subject, art. Any offers? Any offers, gentlemen? Any offers? Captain Leslie.
Yeah, art. I was talking to a fellow the other week, and I said, "Are you interested in art?" He said, "Yes, I've got a wonderful collection of paintings at home. I've got along the walls of my lounge. I've got, in the lounge, in the height, I've got a Botticelli nude, and I've got a Gauguin nude, and I've got a Titian nude, and I've got a Picasso nude." And I said, "Good heavens, are you a connoisseur?" He said, "No, I'm a dirty old man."
Any more for any more? On this side, Chic Murray.
My father was a painter, and I remember one day a woman coming into the house. Quite a few women used to come into the house, I remember. He was a preacher. He was a lay preacher, I think he was. So he said, this woman said, "Mr. Murray," she said, "I would like you to paint me in the nude." And he hesitated just for a moment. He said, "Well, I shall," he said, "but as long as I keep my socks on, I'll have to put somewhere to put my brushes."
Come on now, any more for Leslie's team? No, Bob, no, Bob. Right, I'll give that. What happened then? Jon Pertwee, I'm coming to you in a moment. The team score of 6 points, Leslie Crowther's team. Jon Pertwee's team, the same subject, art. John Buss first, I think.
Did you hear the story about the ultra-modern artist who tries to cut his ear off with an electric razor? I was not having prey.
I like any more, gentlemen, any more?
Yes,
Lance Percival.
Modern artist. When Picasso, many years ago, was burgled, he was asked to draw, his house was burgled, I mean. He was asked to draw a picture of the burglar for the police. And the next day they arrested 2 sardines, a corkscrew, and a dustbin lid.
Johnny Hackett.
Well, big American gangster, New York, you know, big mafia chief says, "Come in. I want you to see I've got some paintings by John Lennon, Paul McCartney, and Cole Porter." So the fella says, "They can't be." He said, "They're composers." He says, "They paint for me."
Right, wrap it up there. I'll give you the same score, 6 points. And as I look at the scoreboard, it is a win for Jon Pertwee's team. Will you say goodbye for now to Captain Jon Pertwee, Lance Percival, and Johnny Hackett? And commiserate upon this occasion with Captain Leslie Crowther, Jolly Chic Murray, and Bob Todd. I'll ask winning Captain Jon Pertwee to collect our trophy. My name's Barry Cryer. See you again soon. Bye for now. John.